One word, that's all it took. After 2 turnovers and a shaky preseason showing, Dillon Gabriel called Shedeur Sanders an entertainer. Not a competitor, not a leader, an entertainer. And just like that, a quiet QB battle in Cleveland turned into something much bigger and far more personal. If this quarterback battle were judged strictly on preseason performance, the conversation wouldn't even be close. Shedeur Sanders stepped onto the field and delivered exactly what coaches preach in August: efficiency, poise, and ball security. He finished 14 of 23 for 157 yards and 2 touchdowns, but the numbers only tell part of the story. What stood out more was command. He looked comfortable in the pocket. He worked through progressions. He protected the football. Most importantly, he capitalized in the red zone, the area where games are actually decided. There were no reckless throws, no panic decisions, no forced hero moments. When the defense gave him a window, he took it. When nothing was there, he lived to fight another down. That's the kind of discipline that keeps coaches sleeping at night. Now flip to Dillon Gabriel's outing. On paper, 13 of 18 for 144 yards doesn't look disastrous. In fact, the completion percentage might even look efficient at first glance. But preseason football isn't just about completions, it's about mistakes. And Gabriel had 2 of the worst kind, turnovers. One decision turned into a pick six. The other miscue came on a mishandled exchange that stalled momentum. In preseason evaluations, turnovers don't get brushed aside as just August. They get magnified. Coaches are evaluating trust. Can you protect the football? Can you avoid giving the other team free points? Because here's the truth about quarterback battles: they're rarely decided by who makes the flashiest throw. They're decided by who makes the fewest damaging mistakes. Sanders generated points. Gabriel generated concerns. And while preseason is a small sample size, small samples are all rookies get. Every drive matters, every snap is graded, every mistake sticks in the back of a coach's mind. What made the contrast even sharper was situational execution. Sanders showed patience in the red zone, understanding that touchdowns matter more than yardage totals. Gabriel, meanwhile, saw promising drives evaporate because of decision-making lapses. That's the difference between moving the ball and managing the game. Now, to be fair, preseason reps are limited. Both quarterbacks are learning new systems. Timing with receivers isn't fully developed. Protection schemes are still being installed. But when 2 players are fighting for the same spot, context only goes so far. Results matter. And right now, the results favor Sanders. Which is why what happened next, the entertainer comment, didn't land in a vacuum. It landed immediately after a performance gap that fans, analysts, and likely coaches had already noticed. And that's what made the word feel heavier than it probably was meant to be. The stats created tension, the comment created a spark. Shortly after the preseason game, a game where turnovers separated the 2 performances, Dillon Gabriel referred to Shedeur Sanders as an entertainer. On the surface, that word doesn't sound explosive. In today's NFL, players build brands, they celebrate, they post, they promote. Being entertaining isn't automatically an insult. But context changes everything. This wasn't said in isolation. It came after a game where Sanders protected the football and produced touchdowns while Gabriel threw a pick six and struggled with ball security. So when the word entertainer surfaced, many fans didn't hear a compliment, they heard a contrast. Entertainer instead of competitor. Entertainer instead of quarterback. In NFL locker rooms, language carries weight. Quarterbacks are expected to be steady, composed, and team first. The position is tied to leadership and trust. So when one rookie subtly labels another, especially in the middle of a roster battle, it's bound to raise eyebrows. Some analysts immediately reacted. On sports talk platforms, the debate shifted from stats to subtext. Was this harmless? Was it accidental? Or was it a subtle attempt to frame Sanders as style over substance? To be fair, there's a reasonable explanation. Gabriel could have meant it positively, acknowledging Sanders' charisma, confidence, and presence. Young players aren't always media trained to understand how certain words will be dissected. Sometimes a comment is just a comment. But the timing complicated everything. If both quarterbacks had played equally clean games, the word might have passed unnoticed. Instead, it followed a performance where Sanders looked composed and efficient while Gabriel's mistakes were fresh in everyone's mind. And then came the quick clarification. When players feel misunderstood, they clarify. When they feel pressure, they clarify even faster. Gabriel later softened the framing, suggesting there was no disrespect intended. That attempt to smooth things over only fueled more speculation. Some fans believe the comment revealed competitive tension. Others argue it's media overreaction. The truth likely sits somewhere in between. But here what matters most: in a tight quarterback battle, perception becomes reality. Coaches evaluate performance, teammates evaluate presence, and fans evaluate everything. With one word, the storyline shifted from who played better to is there friction. And once that narrative enters the building, it doesn't disappear easily. Numbers don't lie, but they tell different stories depending on where you look. Shedeur Sanders made his preseason debut with quiet authority. He completed 14 of 23 passes for 157 yards, throwing 2 touchdowns with 0 turnovers. Every snap demonstrated composure. Every throw reinforced trust. This wasn't about flashy plays or highlight reels. It was about reliability, execution, and commanding the huddle. Veterans noticed, coaches noticed. The message was clear: Sanders could handle pressure, and he did it without drama. Dillon Gabriel, on the other hand, had a mixed bag. He completed 13 of 18 passes for 144 yards, no touchdowns, but 2 critical turnovers, including a pick-6 and a fumble. Those errors weren't minor. They were teachable, yes, but in a battle where every snap matters, they weighed heavily. Film sessions rewound repeatedly to dissect mistakes, exposing areas for improvement. Gabriel showed flashes of skill, but in a quarterback duel, flashes don't outweigh consistency. The numbers tell one story, but context tells another. Sanders' clean performance paired with his presence off the field created a perception of readiness. Gabriel's turnovers, combined with the entertainer comment, opened the door to narrative questions about composure and locker room fit. Now consider the nuances. Height, scheme fit, and style of play influence these stats. At 5'11", Gabriel relies on quick reads and precise timing. He operates often in shotgun formations, shifting the pocket and using mobility to compensate for tight windows. Sanders, with more size and versatility, can expand the playbook and adapt to multiple formations, giving coaches more flexibility over a full season. That difference matters when planning for a 17-game campaign, with injuries and adjustments piling up. In experience, Gabriel brings 6 seasons of college football, over 16,000 passing yards, and exposure to high-pressure games at UCF, Oklahoma, and Oregon. That resume carries weight, but it's also mileage. NFL reps are faster, windows are tighter, and mistakes are costlier. Sanders enters with less college mileage but an ingrained familiarity with spotlight pressure, something he's carried since childhood. Cameras, interviews, and brand building aren't new to him. So it isn't just about stats, it's about reliability, presence, and adaptability. One rookie delivered clean, decisive production. The other showed skill but left questions in the air. In Cleveland's QB battle, the film and the perception are equally important, and as the next preseason snaps arrive, the narrative is still very much in motion. Quarterback performance isn't just about stats, it's about how a player fits into a system. And in Cleveland, size and scheme are critical factors. Dillon Gabriel, listed at 5'11", faces natural limitations in a league that often rewards height. That stature changes how coaches design plays. Windows are tighter, passing lanes require precise timing. Rollouts and shotgun formations become essential tools, not optional choices. Gabriel's mobility helps, but it also restricts what he can attempt under pressure. Every play is calculated, and every read must be quick and accurate. He's effective within his constraints, but the system demands perfection because mistakes are amplified in those smaller margins. Shedeur Sanders, on the other hand, offers a wider canvas. With a larger frame and natural release point, he can stretch the field, create multiple passing lanes, and adapt to deeper, more complex plays. Injuries, substitutions, and shifting defensive schemes all favor a quarterback who can operate in multiple formations and handle a diverse playbook. Sanders' versatility doesn't just give coaches options, it forces defenses to respect the full breadth of the offense. It's a subtle advantage that can turn a close game into a commanding win. System fit also isn't just about play design, it's about decision-making under pressure. Gabriel thrives when the game plan emphasizes quick reads and short passes. Long developing routes or complex pre-snap adjustments can test him, especially when defenders pressure the pocket. Sanders' game, however, allows for more improvisation. He can read the field, manipulate coverage, and extend plays without compromising accuracy. That adaptability is crucial over a full 17-game season, especially when injuries or fatigue disrupt the rhythm. Then there's the mental aspect of system integration. Gabriel's extensive college experience, 6 seasons across UCF, Oklahoma, and Oregon, gave him exposure to varied offensive schemes. He understands defensive tendencies and has seen high-pressure situations. Yet NFL defenses are faster, smarter, and more aggressive. Every snap is a test of his ability to adjust in real time. Sanders, though younger in experience, comes with a lifetime of pressure management. Cameras, media, and public expectations have followed him since childhood. That background gives him a unique advantage when adapting to complex schemes while staying calm in the huddle. Finally, the scheme discussion intersects with roster strategy. The Browns must consider who maximizes overall offensive potential. Gabriel's skills fit a conservative, high-efficiency approach. Sanders' versatility fits a high-reward, adaptable offense capable of explosive plays. Both bring value, but the choice isn't only about talent. It's about aligning size, skill set, and system fit with the team's long-term vision. In the NFL, age and prior experience can be just as important as talent. Dillon Gabriel enters Cleveland at 24 years old, carrying 6 full seasons of college football across UCF, Oklahoma, and Oregon. That's over 16,000 passing yards, countless high-pressure snaps, and exposure to multiple offensive systems. On paper, that experience should provide a head start. Coaches know he's faced complex defenses, adapted to new playbooks, and managed games under the spotlight. The question is, does that mileage translate into immediate NFL readiness, or does it come with wear and tear that could slow his progression? Every snap in college counts differently than in the pros. Timing windows shrink, defenders are faster, and mistakes are punished far more severely. Gabriel's experience gives him an understanding of reads, defensive cues, and situational football, but it also means he's already logged a lot of repetitions that could have contributed to mental fatigue or ingrained habits that need adjustment at the professional level. In short, his foundation is strong, but it isn't a guarantee. Shedeur Sanders, in contrast, brings a fresh perspective. Younger, less mileage, and molded in high-pressure environments from childhood, he hasn't carried as much football wear and tear. Cameras, interviews, and media scrutiny have followed him since his earliest days, giving him a composure beyond his years. While his in-game experience may be lighter, his mental readiness is sharp. He's accustomed to managing expectations, performing under constant observation, and handling chaos without losing focus. That psychological edge could prove crucial as the season progresses. Development timelines also factor into decision-making. NFL teams cannot afford to wait indefinitely for a player to refine skills. Windows for growth are finite. One misstep in a preseason game or a failed read in a critical drive can have long-term consequences for a rookie quarterback standing. For Gabriel, the challenge is integrating his vast experience into NFL speed and precision without letting prior patterns hold him back. For Sanders, the challenge is translating raw talent and poise into consistent, in-game execution under league conditions. The Browns' front office must weigh potential versus proven experience. Do they prioritize Gabriel's readiness and familiarity with complex schemes, hoping his prior mileage accelerates development? Or do they trust Sanders' raw ability, adaptability, and mental fortitude to grow into the role while bringing long-term upside? Both approaches carry risks and rewards, and every snap during training camp, preseason games, and evaluations informs that choice. Finally, timing is everything. Age and mileage influence how quickly a quarterback can ascend a depth chart, but they also determine how long a team can realistically invest before the clock runs out. Gabriel's track record demands immediate results to justify his experience. Sanders' youth allows for patient growth but requires trust in his consistency and adaptability. The interplay of these factors, age, mileage, and development timeline, sets the stage for what could be the most pivotal quarterback decision in Cleveland in years. In the NFL, cutdown day isn't just a deadline, it's a full-blown chess match. Cleveland faces a brutal reality. They can't keep 4 quarterbacks on the active roster. History shows that only rare exceptions survive that deep, like the Patriots holding 4 in 2000 to protect a 6th-round pick named Tom Brady. Today, teams operate differently. The league's salary cap, roster flexibility, and strategic priorities leave little room for luxury. Cleveland must make hard choices, and the QB room is ground zero for those decisions. At the surface, it seems simple. Pick the most talented player. But anyone who's been inside an NFL facility knows the game extends far beyond X's and O's. Ownership, front office strategy, and coaching philosophy collide here. The Haslams write the checks. General managers, scouts, and directors of player personnel assemble the roster. Coaches run the huddle, but when it comes to talent decisions, influence is shared, and sometimes dictated by finances or fan perception. A young quarterback might shine on tape, but if his contract implications or fan energy don't align, the calculus changes. This is where politics and perception weigh heavily. Cleveland isn't just evaluating stats, they're measuring impact, marketability, and long-term stability. A quarterback who excites the fan base, draws attention, and generates energy can indirectly influence the franchise's trajectory. Sanders' high-profile name and media-savvy persona bring those intangibles, alongside his in-game production. Gabriel brings experience, polish, and a proven college resume, but his past turnovers and fumbles create questions about immediate reliability. Teams constantly play a delicate balancing act. Do you reward potential and adaptability or prioritize immediate consistency? Every snap in preseason and practice is scrutinized. Turnovers, pocket awareness, and leadership under pressure are weighed against intangibles like charisma, media presence, and locker room influence. Coaches want players who execute, but ownership and fans are watching closely too. The QB decision is never made in isolation. It's part of a broader organizational strategy that factors in trust, money, and long-term vision. The depth chart is a living, breathing thing. It shifts daily based on performance, injuries, and even subtle perceptions of player chemistry. A single poor play can slide a quarterback down the board, while a clutch drive or a calm, calculated pre-snap read can vault another forward. In Cleveland, this is magnified because the city has endured years of instability at quarterback. Fans crave clarity, leadership, and a quarterback they can trust for the next decade. That pressure doesn't just come from the stands, it reverberates through every locker room conversation, every coach's meeting, and every evaluation report. Then there's the practice squad angle. Cleveland could stash a QB, but that comes with risk. Another team can claim a player off waivers if they see potential. That makes roster decisions even more delicate, protect talent, manage risk, and maintain long-term competitiveness. It's a strategic puzzle where performance, perception, and politics are intertwined. Every decision sends signals to players, fans, and the rest of the league. Ultimately, the 53-man roster is about more than filling slots, it's about vision. Who fits the team's identity now? Who grows into the leader for the future? Shedeur Sanders' steady execution, 2 touchdowns, and 0 turnovers position him favorably. Gabriel's experience and college production keep him in contention. Cleveland must weigh risk against reward, short-term needs against long-term potential, and talent against perception. In the NFL, quarterback battles aren't decided solely by what happens on the field. In Cleveland, the rookie showdown is as much about business, branding, and perception as it is about touchdowns and interceptions. The Haslams aren't just team owners, they're the heartbeat of the franchise, controlling checks that determine the direction of the organization. Every decision they make ripples through the locker room, the city, and the league. A quarterback isn't just a player here, he's a brand, a symbol, and a calculated investment. Cleveland's front office operates like a high-stakes chess match. Andrew Barry and the scouting team may discover value in the draft or through trades, but their evaluations must align with the organization's financial strategy and long-term vision. The quarterback room is the epicenter of those calculations. A player like Shedeur Sanders brings instant media energy, recognition from a high-profile name, and a proven ability to perform under pressure. That combination can generate fan engagement, drive merchandise sales, and even influence national perceptions of the franchise. Gabriel, on the other hand, brings experience, reliability, and a track record that shows he can handle complex systems. But in today's NFL, experience alone isn't always enough. Ownership and branding influence every snap. Coaches want execution and leadership in the huddle, but the front office factors in marketability and fan energy. A quarterback who captivates attention off the field can give a team leverage in sponsorships and ticket sales, while a steady, quieter performer may contribute more in traditional metrics. Both are valuable, but the choice isn't purely about stats. It's about positioning the franchise for success on and off the field. That duality adds pressure. Every performance, every statement, every social media post can impact the perception of who deserves the starting role. Locker room dynamics play a key role in this equation. Fans often overlook how leadership, respect, and communication influence roster decisions. Teammates notice who inspires confidence, who stays calm under pressure, and who can manage distractions effectively. When Shedeur Sanders takes the field, his composure isn't just about completing passes, it sends a signal to the entire team: reliability, trust, and accountability. Gabriel's experience gives him credibility, but turnovers and fumbles raise questions that ownership and coaching staff can't ignore. The balance between talent and business is delicate. Cleveland must weigh immediate performance against long-term potential, money spent against returns generated, and leadership against public perception. Decisions made in August don't just affect the next game, they influence the trajectory of the franchise for years. A quarterback who fits both the cultural and strategic blueprint becomes a cornerstone. One who doesn't, even with flashes of brilliance, risks being moved aside. This is where branding and perception meet execution. The NFL isn't just a competition on the field, it's a calculated business ecosystem. Every play matters, but so does how a player is seen both locally and nationally. Sanders' smooth integration into the quarterback room, his zero-turnover performance, and the buzz surrounding his name illustrate the power of aligning performance with persona. Gabriel's resume and college pedigree provide stability, but in a league driven by attention, timing, and media energy, that alone might not secure his spot. The reality is clear. Cleveland isn't just evaluating quarterbacks, they're evaluating investments, influence, and identity. The starting job isn't just about arm strength or accuracy. It's about who can deliver consistently while embodying the franchise's brand, culture, and long-term vision. Every practice, every preseason snap, and every off-field interaction feeds into a complex calculation that blends business strategy, fan perception, and football performance. The modern quarterback isn't just a player on the field, he's a statement. In Cleveland, the rookie quarterback battle highlights this reality in the starkest terms. Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel aren't simply competing for reps, they're competing for identity, influence, and perception. Sanders embodies the fusion of entertainer and competitor. Every throw he makes, every move he executes reinforces both facets. His brand isn't built in the locker room alone. It's cultivated through consistent performance, presence under pressure, and the ability to command attention without losing focus. Meanwhile, Gabriel leans heavily on his experience, his college pedigree, and his technical understanding of the game. He's the archetype of a traditional quarterback, disciplined, prepared, and methodical. But in 2025's NFL, that blueprint no longer guarantees success in isolation. Fans, analysts, and ownership are all watching. Every throw, every snap, every pregame comment carries weight. When Sanders enters the huddle, he projects confidence that transcends stats. Teammates pick up on it, coaches note it, and even rival defenses respect it. His performance in the preseason, 2 touchdowns, 0 turnovers, and controlled drives, demonstrates he can handle the dual demands of competition and visibility. Gabriel, on the other hand, showed flashes of brilliance. A strong opening with 8 of 9 completions and excellent pocket awareness. But those moments were punctuated by turnovers, miscommunications, and fumbles that spotlight the pressure rookie quarterbacks face when balancing execution with leadership. In the locker room, words matter as much as stats. Gabriel's entertainer comment didn't just stir social media, it touched a nerve within the team. While some argue it was an innocent remark or a rookie's misstep in front of the media, the timing amplified its impact. Every veteran and coach in that room understands that subtle language shapes culture. Sanders, raised in the spotlight as Deion Sanders' son, thrives in it. He's been trained to absorb attention, stay calm under scrutiny, and convert it into performance. Gabriel, while respected for his experience, is still learning how to navigate that high-pressure environment. That dynamic makes every snap a test, not only of arm strength, accuracy, or decision-making, but of leadership, composure, and adaptability under intense scrutiny. The modern quarterback also navigates a business ecosystem. Teams are no longer evaluating players solely by performance metrics. Ownership considers marketability, fan engagement, and branding potential alongside film study. Sanders' charisma, media awareness, and on-field efficiency position him as both an asset and a brand ambassador. Gabriel's college resume, technical skills, and proven experience offer stability and reliability. But the modern league rewards quarterbacks who can combine both, consistently productive on the field while resonating with fans and media off it. Cleveland's evaluation extends beyond tape. It encompasses every tweet, every press conference, every interaction that defines a quarterback's identity. Then there's the long-term vision. NFL franchises are seeking more than immediate production. They're looking for quarterbacks who can lead for a decade, shape culture, and deliver sustainable success. Sanders' blend of entertainment and execution aligns with that philosophy. Gabriel's depth and maturity offer a different path, patient, consistent development with a focus on minimizing errors. Both approaches have merit, but the balance between the two can determine a franchise's trajectory. Ultimately, the distinction between entertainer and competitor is blurred. Sanders proves that you can dominate the scoreboard while captivating attention. Gabriel shows that experience and technical mastery remain invaluable. The Browns face a choice that reflects a league-wide shift. Selecting a quarterback is no longer just about arm talent. It's about leadership, perception, brand, and performance under pressure. The huddle is the proving ground, but the world outside the stadium evaluates the moment just as intensely. In the NFL, decisions aren't made on hype alone. Cleveland's rookie quarterback showdown has been about far more than a single word, a viral comment, or a preseason stat line. It's a case study in how the modern league weighs talent, perception, and long-term vision. Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel represent two completely different philosophies, one rooted in dynamic execution and brand awareness, the other grounded in experience, consistency, and a deep understanding of football fundamentals. The debate isn't just about who throws the ball better, it's about who commands trust, inspires teammates, and aligns with the franchise's future. Sanders' performance speaks volumes. 2 touchdowns, no turnovers, calm under pressure, and the ability to maintain composure when chaos erupts. These are the traits coaches and ownership crave. Beyond the numbers, he demonstrates what it means to lead a modern NFL huddle. Leadership today isn't just a function of age or experience. It's the capacity to influence the room, project confidence, and execute while staying aware of the bigger picture. Sanders combines these traits with the kind of media savvy and brand presence that makes him valuable off the field, too. In the 2025 NFL, a quarterback is more than a passer. They are the face of the team, the connection to fans, and the symbol of a franchise's vision. Sanders is built for that stage. Gabriel, on the other hand, offers a compelling argument for patience and refinement. His college career spans 6 seasons with over 16,000 passing yards, demonstrating resilience, adaptability, and football intelligence. Early flashes of brilliance in preseason play show he can manage the system effectively, keep the offense moving, and handle high-pressure situations. But turnovers and miscommunications under stress reveal that experience alone may not be enough when every snap is scrutinized by coaches, fans, and analysts alike. Gabriel represents the traditional route, steady, reliable, and technically proficient, but with less flair and less brand alignment than Sanders. The Browns' front office faces a multi-layered chessboard. They must weigh performance, potential, and durability, but they also consider how each quarterback fits into the locker room culture, the fanbase energy, and the city's long-term vision. Decisions hinge not just on who looks good in a preseason game, but who can sustain excellence over a decade, navigate media narratives, and maintain composure when everything is on the line. Depth charts aren't static, they shift with every snap, every interview, and every evaluation. Turnovers, red zone efficiency, leadership presence, and adaptability all factor into who ultimately earns the starting role. Brand perception and production are intertwined in ways the casual fan often overlooks. A single word, like Gabriel's entertainer comment, can ripple through the locker room, shaping dynamics and perceptions long before the film does. Meanwhile, Sanders' calculated restraint and consistent execution illustrate the balance between performance and presence. The quarterback who excels in both arenas earns trust, respect, and longevity. At the end of the day, Cleveland must choose more than a QB1. They must choose the quarterback who embodies the city's vision, who can carry the franchise forward, and who can handle the relentless scrutiny of the NFL spotlight. Sanders' blend of performance and charisma positions him as the frontrunner, while Gabriel's experience ensures he remains a credible contender. The final decision will reflect a balance between immediate production, leadership, and the intangible qualities that define a franchise quarterback. Transition line: in the NFL, it's not just about talent, it's about timing, trust, and the ability to deliver when the stakes are highest. Cleveland's choice will define the next era of Browns football.